Hi everyone, this is Henry, our tour guide. What a fantastic guy he was and what a fantastic commentary he provided us. In essence, what he's saying here is that the Korean peninsula has been ruled by various dynasties for over 5,000 years. Japan in particular ruled the peninsula from 1910 to 1945, but of course with the ending of World War II, they ceased to rule as Japan surrendered to the Allied forces. Remembering the Allied forces included Russia, so they took over the Korean peninsula to the north, and the US decided to rule from the south, and it was split at longitude 38, or more commonly known as the 38th parallel. In 1947, the head of North Korea, who is the current ruler Kim Jong-il's grandfather, he entered into secret negotiations with both China and the USSR, with Stalin in particular, to plan the 1950 invasion 3 years ahead of time. Those secret negotiations ensured the North had 242 Russian tanks and 230 aircraft when they decided to invade, plus weaponry such as artillery and guns. Meanwhile, South Korea only had 22 planes and practically no weaponry at all. Anything they did have, including those planes, were only for training purposes. So Seoul was taken within 3 days by the North Koreans. Many were killed. The South Korean army was so small that they had to enlist essentially teenagers aged 14 to 17, and many of those wrote harrowing letters home to their parents and never made it home. The United Nations became involved shortly after because of the high casualties and the prospect of another world war. The first United Nations troops to arrive were the Kiwi Defence Force. They arrived in Busan, and it's the only time in history actually that the United Nations has fought as an army. Since then, they've always occupied peacekeeping roles. Eventually, the South fought back and reclaimed much of what had been lost. In fact, they went as far north at one stage as the Chinese border, at which point China mobilized a huge army to push it back to where it exists today. No one won the war. It's simply been a ceasefire since 1953. The tunnels that we'll look at later on were discovered in the 1980s by South Korea, and it just shows that North Korea have always had plans to invade the South if they get the opportunity. Anyway, enjoy the video. It's a wet, muggy, cloudy day, but it was a sensational trip all the same.
This is obviously part of it. Interesting. Clouded in shrouds and clouds. Shrouded in shrouds. Shrouded in clouds.
This red line is the military demarcation line, the real border between North and South Korea. From here, 2 kilometers to south, 2 kilometers to north, there's another line. This one is SLN, South Limit Line. And this one is NLN, North Limit Line. This 4 kilometers is we call DMZ, demilitarized zone, so nobody go inside. And old generation, the crying here, the crying, the young generation, the crying. So kind of the weird, but nowadays we do like that. Many of the younger generation, they don't want to be reunified in North Korea because they think we have a really big difference of the economic level, and also we are different ideologies. They are communism, we are the liberal democracy. The opposite side, the old generation, they always want to be reunified with the North Korea because they have still a separate family in the North Korea. In my case, I actually really want to be reunified with the North Korea. The most important reason is definitely the North Korean women. They are beautiful. That's beautiful. Just kidding. As I told you, so we made just only ceasefire, not end of the war. So we made just a ceasefire. So for this reason, the U.S. Army, U.S. soldiers, they stay in South Korea. My government want to be close to China. So sometimes U.S. said, China? Seriously? I think you're my best friend. You don't think like that. And then we said, you know that you're my best friend, but you know, China is our neighbor. Neighbor have to be close always, right? And then they said again, but you have a Japan. Japan is one of your best neighbor. And then we said, yes, we have Japan, but you know, our land is stick to the China, so we need to be close to China too. And then they said, okay, I understand you, but please remember, we are watching you. So sometimes happen like that situation.
These are the nations that fought on behalf of the United Nations, as part of the United Nations, during the Korean War. But these guys, being the very first, the United Nations only ever war. Which, as I said earlier, had no winner, just an armistice and a ceasefire. The first South Korean leader after the armistice said, to have peace you must prepare for war. So there we go. Rainy day, so I won't be taking too many photos of me, I don't think. Hi guys, how you doing? Along the path, through the door. Thank you, sir. Straight through? Yes. I better behave myself, they still have my passport. Quite appropriate today in a way, coming to the DMZ. This is the first time that it has just rained and rained and rained since we've been in South Korea. We've had scorches of the day. It's still about 26 degrees, but the rain certainly cooled you down a bit. I said it was raining before. Now she's just tossing it down, Trevor. I think I might be on the first train out of here.
And then, but this tunnel will be the huge tunnel, the 3 meter high and 3 meter wide. So you can go down easily, but the problem starts from the North Korea tunnel. This tunnel, as I told you, the maximum height is 1.75 meters. So you guys have to bend your back like this and walking for 15 minutes, so 1 minute. So.
And what was once fully forested and full of life, but today we come to a symbolic meeting of not just cultures, but of ideologies.
Yeah.
Oh yes, get down here.
Heading up to the observatory.
Video. Actually, the third floor. Maybe wind brings
Let's go have a look, see what's happening in the north today. Too foggy, too misty. Great experience, huh? Just to know they're sitting over the other side watching us, so we should give them a wave. Yo! Look at that, the North Koreans just pushed the clouds back a bit for us. From the cafe, let's now look into North Korea. Really what it's all about for the South Koreans. End of separation, beginning of unification. And that's what they're aiming for. Hey, thanks very much for watching Hope is Alive channel. For more videos you can click here or here. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, send it to your friends. Take care. You can choose now. Yeah, just anywhere. Yeah.